Uh, So, hi everyone. Uh, Today is our first class, introductory class for Python, and we'll get to know why should we learn Python, and what are the advantages of Python over other languages, and why Python is so much famous, and why we need to learn Python in today's time. Like there are other languages also. We might be knowing about languages like C, C++, C Sharp, Java also. Then why Python has edge uh, against all these languages? And I'll start my discussion with my introduction. I'm a Python trainer from the last 20 years, and I have been in industry from past 15 years. I have been teaching from last 20 years. I have good knowledge in Python, and I have worked in various domains in Python, web development and then automation, and many more that we'll come to know about it. So this is the agenda for today's discussion. What is the agenda? It is the history of Python. I'll let you know about how Python evolved. Then why do we need to learn Python uh, in 2023 and so and next years also. Popular domains where Python has been used. This is the thing that will decide your interest, where your interest lies when you learn in Python. Learning only language doesn't give you job. You should know the domain also. Then I'll let you know about why Python is a high level languages, and I'll tell you about the difference between high level and low level languages. Python, is it a compile or interpreted? That we'll discuss. Then Python is an object oriented or procedural language. We'll discuss. Then we'll discuss about some basics of Pythons, and then straight away we'll do coding. So history of Python. This is my first agenda topic. So Python language, it was conceived in late 1980s, and its implementation was started in December 1989 by Rossum, Gunter van Rossum, full form, in the Netherlands. And hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in February 1991, Rossum published the code, and already present at this stage in development were classes with an inheritance, exception handling, functions, and core data types like list, dictionary, strings, and so on. Whatever terms that I've used just now, it is a part of our core curriculum for future videos. Okay. So as of now, if you have any doubt, just keep it with yourself. We'll discuss.
Sure.
Then
Yeah.
Python priorities code readability and simplicity, making it a popular choice of rapid development. In contrast, I want to compare something Python with Java, because like in today's market, Java is also popular. Python, it was started in 1991, and Java, it was created in 1995 as a robust and portable language. So why we get to know from people like Python is most recent language as compared to Java. So that is not the case. The development of Python was started in 1991 itself. So just keep in mind, Python is not a new language. Yeah, due to its usage in modern technologies like AI, ML, and automation, recently Python has become more popular from last 10 years.
Okay, got it.
Major versions of Python, as we know, like we are using Python 3 currently, but we should also know like what was Python version 1, 2, and 3, because when it was started with version 1. In version 1, these were the popular functions which were used: lambda, then map functions, filter function, reduce function. This currently also we are using. Okay, and only few differences will be that I'll let you know, like what is the differences when we're using this function in version 1, and now what is the difference, like using the same functions in version 3. Version 2, it has introduced list comprehension. List comprehension are widely used in projects because of code. It will reduce the code redundancy and readability. Where you are, for example, if you are using 3 lines of code, using list comprehension, you can reduce it to 1 line of code. That we'll also discuss with examples. Then version 3, in version 3, the same function reduce, now it is coming into a model called functools. Before, we need not to import functools. Everything, if you have any confusion right now, we'll be discussing more. Okay, so again, we can revisit if you want in future. Why do we need to learn Python? Obviously, it is easy to learn. This is chiefly because of the resemblance of the English language. While we'll be coding, we'll come to know, like Python is more to, it will look like an English language rather than some jargon language which we need to learn. So it's very easy to learn. Python syntax is characterized by very few rules and special cases. It is safe to say that Python focus on what you want to do with code and not on language interests. Okay, it's not language specific. You want to do anything, for example, if you use Google, and if we straight away turn on the audio and say, Google, tell me where is my location, and Google will give you the output. Same way Python behaves. In the simple English language, we'll enter few lines of code and we'll get the output. Then it's a very versatile language and platform independent. We can use Python on various OS like Windows, Mac, and Linux. These are the 3 popular OS we are using. We have other OS also, but that is not a part of discussion. If you have any questions, we can discuss. Then vast libraries. We have many versatile libraries. When I started using Python because of libraries only, I came to know something you are doing with Java and you are writing like 10 or 20 lines of code using a particular library in Python, you can do it in a single line. That also we'll discuss. So popular domains where Python is being used. You might be hearing about this popular domains like data science, artificial intelligence, web development, automation frameworks. The first 2 are like they are pretty much popular. Data science use libraries like pandas, matplotlib, seaborn. These are very intuitive libraries. When you use this in a single line, you'll get a good graph. Okay, these are also used for data analytics purpose. AI, where Keras and TensorFlow will be used. We'll keep on doing learning the same data for a long period of time using these libraries. We'll come to know about it. Then web development. In web development, we use frameworks like Django and Flask. Okay, and complete full stack development will be there in web development. If you want to pursue your career in web development, then these are those you might be using, and your designation will be like a full stack development. Then automation framework. Automation framework where you create the framework and you can execute some test cases and you can show the manager, see, these are the bunch of test cases I have used. So as per requirement, these things may change your framework. We will be discussing all these topics, okay, as a part of our project curriculum. As of now, just high level language. Yeah, now coming to Python is a high level language or it's a low level language. So first of all, we should know like what is high level and what is low level language. High level language where you are interacting less with your hardware. Okay, you can go through this pointers one by one. Okay, but I'll give a brief about this high level language. In short, in my language, what I have learned, In high level language, we don't interact with hardware, but in low level language, we need to interact with hardware. So Python, Java, C++, these are all high level language. And you might be heard about like assembly coding. If you have done your graduation for electronics and telecom, there we need to learn assembly language where we need to interact with the hardware. Okay, so that is low level language. So Python, if somebody will ask you interview question, this is a very popular interview question. Python is a high level, low level, you tell it's a high level language. Again, it's again one of the most popular interview question. Python is a compiled or interpreted language. Now, before deciding whether it is compiled or interpreted, we should know like what is uh, uh, compiled language, what is interpreted language. So as you see in this picture, like here it is the editor. Editor is something where we write our code. It can be your simple notepad or notepad plus plus. Okay, any editor where we can write our code is called this editor itself. Then this editor, it will be changed into source file. Okay, this example, I will, by one example, I'll show you. Okay, various stages. Okay, so after we have created the source file and we execute the source file in IDE, okay, using some compiler in Python or some shell, Python shell, you can tell. So what it will do, the source file will be converted into bytecode first of all using this compiler. This compiler is not visible to a developer. When you are using IDE, we can't see where is the compiler and where is the virtual machine. But fitting into the same box is Python interpreter. So we are writing the code. It is after that we are saving that code as a source file like .py file. Then that .py file, when we are executing, it is changing into bytecode, and then bytecode using virtual machines, it is going to create executable program. That means I will get the output finally at this stage. So it is a kind of compiled language only, but since the developer doesn't know about this scenario, we tell that it's an interpreted language. So if somebody will ask in interview that Python is a compiled or interpreted, you can tell it's both. It's compiled also, it's interpreted also. Because when it's compiled, the developer doesn't come to know that compilation has happened. But in Java, we have certain commands. This right side picture is for Java. This left side is for Python. So in Java, when we execute this java.dot file using the Java C command, we can convert source file into compiled file. And then after this compiled file can be changed into executable code, that is output using JVM. So in Java, it is very intuitive uh, to know like it is a compile time language, but in Python it's not like that. Somebody will ask Java is a compiled or interpreted, then Java is compile time. Then Python is both, but you need to tell him in details like how it is. Otherwise, he won't be satisfied with your answer. There is some objective. He wants to know you have proper understanding of compile and interpret. And for coming forward for the next slide is Python is an object-oriented procedural language. Now we should know like what is the difference between object-oriented and procedural language. I'm telling you all these things because this comes as a basic of Python. Since this is your day one, you should know about these things. If you are not able to tell about these concepts in front of interviewer, they will think there is some fishy, there is some problem. You have not learned Python. You have not done any work around some research on Python. That is very much important. These are very frequently asked questions.
Got it.
So, okay. Thanks for confirming. So, Python is an object-oriented procedural language. So, Python is a kind of both procedural as well as object-oriented. How? So it depends like definition of this. What is procedural language? Python execute procedural language. First, we'll discuss what is procedural language. Procedural language is a language where the execution happens from top to bottom, line by line. For example, if you have 10 lines of code, then execution first line will execute first, then second line will execute, then third line, and so on. Okay, but in case object oriented, it's not like that. In object oriented, wherever your main function will be defined, there the execution will go first, and inside main, whichever functions are called, those functions will be then defined, and it will give you the output. So what is Python? Python is a procedural object oriented. It is both. More details we'll be discussing, okay, in our future slide. Future, not slides, future classes, sorry. So these are the basics of Python. So every language has some syntax. They have some data attributes. They have some data types. Okay. For example, in English, we learn about noun, pronouns, then verbs. Similarly, in Python also, we have at very basic level, we have data types. And what are those data types? They are numeric data types. They are, you can say, primary and secondary data types. In primary, this numeric will come. Okay. And then here they have not, I forgot to mention that strings, numeric strings. These are primitive data types. And dictionary, Boolean is also primitive data types. Sets, it's non-primitive. Sequence type is non-primitive. Okay, I will change this slide. I will make it more detailed. Okay, because data types has to be divided into primitive or non-primitive, and further we'll divide the data types. So as a first class, we can discuss this data types also, and we'll get some exposure to Python, like how it is easy, how it is code, how much less time it will take you to get the output in Python. Okay, for that, let me open one edit ID. So in my system, VS Code is installed, and in my company also, I'm using currently in VS Code. Apart from VS Code, I also used IntelliJ, but since this ID install, I'm going to use this one as of now. So this ID, you can download it from internet. It's a community version ID, and it's free of cost. And it's an open source. And in case if you want to buy, you can buy also. What is the difference between open source and paid version? In paid version, we'll be getting more features. And from project perspective in your company, paid version is more preferred, because there are certain things in web development that doesn't come on free. For that, we can use, but for learning, this free version is fine as of now. So what I have done,
one quick question. So this is basically a IDE where we are going to write the Python code, right?
Correct.
And when we to run that Python code, do we need to install Python as well on the machine?
Yeah, actually I was coming to that one.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so there are one prerequisites that we need to do when we want to execute our code via VS Code. That is your Python get installed in your system. Okay. So this Python I have downloaded. Just a second, let me open that. Python.org. That is one site. Here you can download Python based on your operating system. My system is Windows, so I have downloaded from this website. You can see many things here. So if you click here, straight away download will happen.
Okay.
Okay, then after that, so if you want, I can share a video where how to install Python on Windows or other operating system. I can share with you. Okay, otherwise you can also Google it yourself. If you have any questions, you let me know. I will surely help you on this. So this is Python that we need to install first. Okay, and please make sure, like, after uh, installing this Python application, we need to configure this environment variable. So what I have done in my search pan, I have just entered env. I've got this tab. Okay, edit. So in the system properties, go to advanced, then environment variables. Variables, we need to configure the path. Where is the path variable we need to see? So here is the path. Open in edit mode, and you'll see Python will be there here. Where is
The last
Python?
one. The last one.
Yeah. So I think that recently I might have updated. Before that, I was using Python 2. So it was there at the top. So now, since I have updated to Python 3, it is added more recently. Okay.
So after you install that executable file, you would have this folder created in your C drive. So
Yes,
we need
yes.
to come into environment variable and we just have to make an entry here. Right?
Correct, correct. So that
And is
path
this
will,
required? And is this required only for Visual Studio IDE or any IDE you use? This is something that you have to do. The environment variable setup.
for Windows, it is required. I guess
Okay.
concept-wise, it is required for all the OS. Only the that I need to see with Mac. I have no idea.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, that we need to do more research on that. Since I have got more exposure in Windows, I can tell you, like, this path after entering, what will happen? Like if you open any shell, like command prompt,
Mm-hmm.
and in command prompt, if I enter only Python, then it will go inside Python shell.
Okay.
And if you are not doing that thing, entering your data in the environment where path directly, then
Mm-hmm.
after here you'll get error. You won't be able to go inside the shell. To come out of the
Got
shell, we can do exit. Okay.
got it.
So
Got it.
why we use here this shell for small Python code? For example, I want to do one small print. I want to do like hello world. So for small debug, coding, we can using shell. Otherwise, I mostly prefer VS Code, because here we can write many lines of code, 1 to 10 lines of code, and every lines might have different indentation. Okay, so in shell we might get some syntax error, but here if you are getting some syntax error, the full code will be available in front of you. You will just make some adjustment, and in other execution you will get your output. But here if you are encountering any kind of error, again you have to write each and every line of code. Okay, that is the issue.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay, so what we are going to do hands-on on this, data types, then control flow statements, functions, that will come to know one by one, when we'll be discussing, when we'll be executing straight away these things.
Mhm.
So where is my VS Code? So after I open VS Code, I will click on file, and I will uh, open one Python file. Okay, so new file.
Okay. It says Python file there.
Yeah,
The second option. No, it went away now.
just a second. I think it came here.
So, click on new file. Yeah, click on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
The Python file we have clicked, and after that we can write here something like same hello world.
Mm-hmm.
Now after writing our code, we need to save it somewhere. Okay, that is compulsory. So we can create one workspace anywhere if you want. Like in my desktop, I'll create one folder
Mm-hmm.
like Python demo. I'll go inside this folder. I will save this file like demo.py kind of. So
Okay.
if file type is already Python, then no need to type here .py.
Okay.
So you'll see here. This tab, where is it? Outline, no folders open. Okay, this is for folders. Okay, let me run first. You'll come to know. Like I'm not able to see that folder that I have selected here. So for executing this particular code, I have to open one terminal. And I have to go to the path where it is saved. So it is saved in CD desktop. And what was that folder name?
Use demo, Python demo as a folder name.
Yeah. So now I am in CLS work. Yeah. So in my Python demo folder, this file is present, demo.py. So execute this py file. We have to write the Python. Then what I've done, like only I've written Python and de, then tab. It will come automatically your file .py file. Then I have to hit enter here. So now hello world has come. Okay, so this is the first line of code I have executed using IDE. Okay, same thing will be there with the IntelliJ IDE also, Eclipse also. Eclipse I haven't tried with for Python. I have used Eclipse for Java. But yeah, Shell, I have already demonstrated using Shell. Okay. Now coming to the basic data types. Uh, just a second. So whatever coding we are going to do, we are going to use this idea itself. Okay. So I'll tell you a few examples why Python is frequently it resembles to English language. I have already discussed this thing in the beginning. Okay. So if I want to define any variables, for example, uh, some variable a is equal to 10. I want to define one number. So in Python, what I will use, I won't use like I want any data type. For example, int a is equal to 10. Okay, so this is not required in Python, as this is required in Java and other high-level languages like CPP and C#. Okay, so we don't need to specify any variable type. Okay, if you want, you can write a is equal to geeks. It will work for you. Now this at first line, a is behaving like an integer. In second line, a is behaving like a string. Okay, in next example, a will behave like float. Okay, here we need not to specify any data type. But in other languages, we need to specify, like if a is integer, here we have to write like int, then it has to be string. Okay, and it has to be float. So here it is not required in Python. So this is the way we define variables in Python. Let me print also at the same time whether we are getting output or not, because finally output is something which gives you satisfaction. Okay, not writing anything on screen. So here I'll print integer a is equal to like a. Then string a is equal to a. Now this line. Then float a is equal to a. So again, I'm going to the terminal. I have entered this page up key. Okay, it will give you the last used command. See, we have got like for this a, it is behaving like int. If I want to know like what is the data type for this, we can that type that also. Plus the command to know the data type in Python is type. Okay, and type is equal to we have to do some formatting so that we won't be getting any error. Let me execute this.
So plus is basically concatenation operator here.
Yeah, that I'm going to discuss with you. Actually, I have kept it for future events just now in this particular video. So So for first time, getting error is okay. After you will resolve it, you are happy, correct? So see here what I have got. Same thing I will do for others also. So for this line, like a is equal to 10, it is integer. For a is equal to unix, it's behaving like a string. For a is equal to 23.56, it's behaving like a float. Same variable has been given different data type. But this thing is not there in other languages. If you do the same thing in Java, then Java won't allow to assign you the value if the variable name is same. Okay. Now you are talking about this concatenation operator. Any objects which is created in Python, by default it is string. If it is not a string, you have to make it a string so that it will not give you error. For example, what I'm doing, let me comment this This is not required as of now. For example, what I'm doing, 10 plus 20. It should give me what? Any guess? Here?
Should give you 30.
Yeah, let me check. Yeah, it is giving me 30. Now, let me do this. X plus 20. What do you think? What it will give here?
It would concatenate geeks with the 20, is it? Geeks 20 is what you get.
Okay.
Or you get an error because there are two data types in there.
Okay, let me see what Python will give us. Yeah, it is giving me error. So it is telling that see plus here behaving like a add operator.
Correct.
Since the data types both are numeric. And in second case, plus if it is a string and another is some other data type, it will throw error because Python doesn't know like what we need to do with these data types. So if you want to concatenate, we can do it like that. Now in this way, Python will come to know, no, I have to do concatenation operator. It's not a addition operator. So as a developer, we have to make sure that these things we should know. So what this concept in Python is called is operator overloading. That we'll be discussing in our future videos. Same operator, it will behave like addition operator. Same way operator, it will behave like concatenation operator. That is called operator overloading.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So data types, as of now, we have discussed is numeric data type, then float data type, then string data type. Okay, let me discuss few more data types, and that is, for example, list data type, LST, and list is something in Python which can take, data types of all kinds. For example, it can take numeric also. It can take string also. Then it can take Boolean also. Let me print this. See, it is very simple. You just need to write print then your variable name. So let me comment this. It's not required. So for commenting in Python, what I am using is control plus forward slash at the same time. Okay. Again, we'll execute. For clearing this output, I think just a second. Let me use it's yeah, clear is what I want to clear the output. So clear is the command. So this is the list data types. Okay. So we'll be studying about loops in future. If you want to print like one by one these elements, we can use for loop for item in your list name. Print item. Okay, so one by one it says printed all the items. Now what I'm getting bored using this while writing this Python every time. I want to use some other shortcut so that on click only I'll get the output. What I'll do, I'll try to use this run code. Okay, so now for this run code, we need to add one extension. Okay, in marketplace of VS Code. Okay, that I'll can share you like which extension we are using. After installing that extension, we can use this tab. After then, you don't need to enter any command. In previously whatever we are doing in terminal, but now it will come in your output. Okay, we can there is one more way to execute our code, that is your debug console. So there are three: one using items, then output using this run code extension, and this is debug console. Now I have to check whether debug Python file. So it is mostly widely used by the developer, because whenever we got stuck somewhere, we want to debug where is the exactly the problem is there. So what we do, like we use this bookmarks, like we want to see inside this loop any problem is there or not. For example, I'll make some I will inject some error in this loop. Instead of item, I've done is misspelled this item. Okay, here. So let me do debug and Python debug. Yeah. Now see, you might have encountered Windows have got some changes. Your UI have got changes. These are debug options. Okay. If you want to stop the execution, we can click this option, that square, no, square like structure is there. And after that, if you want to go inside the code, since this code is not too big, all the three options will behave like that only. But if you want to just step over one by one line, you want to go, for example, let me use this. And at the same time, you observe here call stack. Okay, these are detailed things, but see, so much things we have got, so many logs we have got.
But the last line clearly says what the problem is.
Correct.
This item is not defined.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you look familiar with Python. That's what you're telling. For the first time, I've seen students, they don't know about this thing. Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't have exposure to Python, but I know other programming languages. So
Okay. That for you, it's very easy to map whatever I'm telling you. I guess.
Got it.
Yeah. Then what are some other data structures we can use here? For example, the famous question we get interviews is about tuples. And before tuples, like they will ask you, like, what are the mutable data types and immutable data types? So you might have known, like, tuples, mutables data types, as the name suggests, like it can be changed, and on immutables, which cannot be changed. So as a developer, we should know the data types which can be changed, which cannot be changed. So I don't know, like tuple, people say the tuple is, it can be changed. I want to see here. So first of all, we need to define, for defining tuples, we have to use this round brackets. And in round brackets, we have to use elements. We can use element of different data types, just like list. Okay. Now, what I want to do, I want to append something to the tuple. Okay, at the same time, I will take some list also, and I will use same elements inside this list. I will try to add some elements to this list. For example, Python. Okay, let me take this to the next line now. Now, after appending, the C list is allowing me to do so. Okay, and the same thing I will do with this tuple also. let me check whether it is allowing me to do so. DUP. So what I do, like this, as of now, only the 8 lines of code is there. I will do some, write some print statement here so that I will be able to map it, like where is the execution, in case if I'm finding any error, where is that error. Okay. So you have already worked in some other language. What do you think, like what happened here? Any guess you want to make here?
No, I think the first one should, to the list, it should get appended.
Mhm.
I think it should print the details, but I'm not particularly sure about Qpel.
Oh, okay. So say here, for first list is equal to list. The original list was one having 3 elements. Okay. And the one I want to print is having Python also. List have allowed to append, correct? But here in case of tuple, it has not allowed to append anything. Means on a high level, at a high level, we can say that tuple won't allow any modification to itself. Okay.
Okay.
So that's why tuple are called immutable types. One more thing, one more question interviewer ask you in most of the time, like they will give you one example here. For example, X. So see, this is the way we used to define tuple. We are using round brackets, correct? So what do you think? Like this is also will be a tuple or it will be something else?
Yeah, I think
What do you think?
a tuple with only one element. Yeah?
Tuple with only one element. Okay. So I will just print tuple. And also I will type data type. Okay.
Okay, you're trying to print what the data type is going to be.
Yes, yes.
This one. Okay.
So type of tuple is, we were expecting tuple, correct?
Correct.
But now it is giving class strings.
Okay.
So here is the catch. Like these things, as a Python developer, you should know, because they are going. I have faced many interviews also. I have taken interviews also, and these are my interview questions. Okay, what do you think? It's a tuple or not?
Okay.
Okay.
So if you have only one element, it gets defined as a string, is it? Is it?
No, it's not like that. So the thing is like, if you want to have a single element in tuple, then you have to specify this comma. Okay. So now I'll execute again. Now
Okay.
you get. Okay.
Okay. So you need to have at least 2 elements for it to be considered as a tuple.
Without comma.
Within the list.
At the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If you want single element, you need to specify, because how the Python will recognize it will be a string or tuple.
Got it.
Using this comma. Okay.
We'll be checking all of this in quite detail, right? Later on. I think you're giving only the overview of these topics on
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And also like we can see, like, sorry, I want to see the address as well. This data type is shared, it isn't saved. Okay, then we can use this function called ID. Okay. And it will give you the address. See, we have got this address. At this address, this tuple is stored. So ID, then type, then also length. Length will determine like how many elements you have in that variable.
Okay.
So see, since we have only one element, length is
Okay.
1. So these are the basic commands in Python we are going to use. Okay, and this is very practical commands we use on daily basis.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have one question on the Python career prospects. Do we have enough jobs in the market for Python today? And yeah, is it going to be in demand for the next few years at least? Because I want to get started with it.
Trust me, you can trust on Python. It is that language. Okay. So I already told you in a PPT this thing. Why is
Yeah,
that
you have
language?
mentioned various domains where you can
Correct.
use Python. Okay.
So in data science, predominantly they are using a Python, and this libraries, they are still in development. It's not like they have a huge community in Python, and they are still developing these libraries because they want the future to be AI specific. Wherever you go now, you will heard about that AI. In fact,
Okay.
I've seen like many institutes, their trainers, they don't, have much exposure in AI. But since the market has so much requirement, they don't. It's not able to fulfill the requirements. We have so many opportunities in market for AI data science, and this automation framework. I'll tell you, testing is something which is not going to be, unpopular anytime. Either it is after 100 years also, whatever application you are going to develop, that has to be tested first before it goes to deployment. It's
Got
not like developer has developed it and they have deployed it.
Yeah.
So automation is something that is having future scope also. It won't going to stop. And you might have known, means everybody is using mobile phones. Okay.
Yeah.
And tabs. Okay, we know about Netflix, then Book My Show, then your Amazon Prime. Here, that is all a part of your backend development. And if you know something in front end also, like from UI, then you become a full stack engineer.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
Yes. So you want me to do and more hands-on on on this
No, we can pick it up from here tomorrow. It's fine. Yeah.
tomorrow?
Thanks for the detailed demo.
Okay. Thank you for this discussion.